Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the final instalment of this week's Look Finance SEQFC preview shows, with thanks to Vilic Law. It is, of course, the grand final preview of the NPL. And to discuss it, we have got with us Tony Jorkis. Tony, good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
Excellent, mate. Excellent. It's the final show of the year.
Looking forward to Saturday night.
Yeah, it should be great. And, of course, we've got the winner of last year's grand final, Grae Piddick. Grae, how are you?
Yeah, good, lads. How are we? All good?
Excellent. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, before we get into anything, Grae, I want to talk to you. Gold Coast Knights, 2019 grand final winners. What's the first thing that comes into your head?
Oh, I think the crowd and the fans. I think it was massive, sitting on the opposite side as the coach, seeing, the sea of red, white and blue, and then obviously at the other end of the stadium, the Olympic fans. So I think the atmosphere was fantastic. That's one of the key things. And then, obviously, the other one is, of course, we won. So that's always enjoyable. And lifting the trophy at the end of that night was great fun.
Excellent. All right. We might touch on a few of those points as we progress through the show. But before we get into all that, let's start with last weekend's semi-final results. Tony, we'll go with the Saturday night game. Peninsula Power up against Lions, and Lions got the biscuits.
I had that feeling they were going to, because like I said last week, I watched Power play, and if there was a team you want to play in the top 40, it was them. Now, the send-off early wouldn't have helped them, but 4-1 was a fairly good result.
Yeah, pretty convincing in the end. Grae, what did you make of the game?
Yeah, well, I actually didn't see much of the game until after the send-off. Particularly on that pitch, when you're down to 10 men, makes it difficult, particularly if you're chasing the game. Sometimes, if you're in front when you cop a send-off, you've got something to try to protect. But when you've got to try and chase the game, makes it difficult. In the second half, they had a few opportunities, Power, to maybe come back into the game and got involved a few times. So, but it's one of those ones. They won the premiership, they won the league. For them to cap off a great year and go. Yeah, the top four sides, there's not much on any given day in any team, any one of those top four.
Just a little bit of luck here, a little bit of luck there can make all the difference, can't it?
Right.
A red card, obviously makes it. So, that had a fantastic year, and they should still.
All right. Okay, now the second match. You were at, Tony, the Olympic match against Knights. What was your take on that game?
Two fairly evenly balanced sides. Just Olympic took their chances. They were gifted the first one when there was a charity. It was a gift, that first goal. But then they got straight back into it, and they got levelled at 1-1. And, you got to take your chances in football. If you don't play the following week.
Exactly. Grae, how did you...
I thought it was, as Tony said, it was fair. At times, gifted some opportunities. There were some taken, of course. The Olympic really, playing, and sometimes they come a little bit unstable. times, they were really quite good to watch.
And of course, Olympic.
And the interchanging of positions, I thought, and that's why. Goalkeepers made some good saves at the end, so.
Yeah, he did. He saved them at the end. Yeah.
In that last minute. So it's just one of those.
All right, so go into this weekend's match. Two teams that are always thereabouts. Two of the powerhouses of the competition. Tony, what are you looking for from these two teams?
If Olympic play to their potential, they should win the game. But it's a grand final. They've lost the last two. They're going to have most of their supporters there. They'll have most of the supporters will be Olympic supporters, let's face it, on Saturday.
Will Lions have their supporters there, Tony?
Well, 20 of them? Giving them a credit. Normally, it's not even them. You just want to get killed on Saturday, Darren, that's all. You know my thoughts on their supporters. I don't know. But they've got the women's team playing earlier, haven't they?
They do.
Surely they'll get someone there. They're offering bus services the other day, but I don't know whether they're offering 10-seater buses or what, because that's what they'll need.
So, yes, Lions and Logan both have the opportunity of doing the double this weekend, with Logan in the FQPL Grand Final Friday night and the NPLW Grand Final. Logan are playing Lions in the NPLW Grand Final. So, of course, Lions can do the double there as well. We were just on that, Grae. We were talking to Rob Askew last night, the Lions women's coach, and he was been in plenty of grand finals, and he was saying that his approach is not necessarily to G players up for the grand final, because the excitement's already there. He focuses on keeping his players calm and centred and ready for the challenge. Is that something that you did last year?
Oh, I think but you'd expect that anyway. You're right. It's an important for that, and I think where Rob's coming from is making sure that they don't let that excitement sort of take them away from so they don't get caught too given, or not play out their role or the team or what the plan is for a particular game. So I think that's probably sort of what his angle there is making sure that, generally speaking, you don't expect Lions or Olympic to change too much. How they played this year has got them to where they are. There might be some subtle areas where they go, look, this is an opportunity, where we might be able to, catch the opposition out, for example, or this is a strength of us. Can we improve on that for this particular game? So I think they'll, play fairly similar. I wouldn't expect too many surprises. And it's about the players, again, I think it'll be close. If you get out there, play your role, do it at the absolute best that you can, and not let your direct opponent have the better of you, well, then you're a good chance. And I think, Olympic are certainly the favourites, no doubt about that. They're in fantastic form. But as I was saying before, it's Lions. So absolutely never, give up on Lions. They're a team. They've won the previous two premierships. They know what it takes to win trophies. Yes, they've got a few players, away or missing. But, they play a style of football that's probably, perfect for finals football anyway. I think they'll give it a red hot crack. I think it's just probably a question of will Olympic be able to play through the press And if they do that, well, then Olympic will go on to win. If they have some difficulties, well, then Lions will get some opportunities. I think that's where the game will be won and lost.
Just with Lions, I should point out that we did invite both coaches to be on the show tonight, and Olympic were unable to. They just had a full plate tonight. Darren was a possibility, but we figured, well, if Olympic can't be here, then let's not put the pressure on Lions to be here as well. So we're going with what we've got here. We also don't have Joey hosting the show because he's going to be the assistant on the weekend. So we thought it would be best to leave him out from hosting the show. He might say something that people might take the wrong way or anything like that. So that's why he's stuck with me. But let's get back to Lions and Darren Syme. Of course, this is Warren Moon's team. We heard Darren on the show last week say that he decided to keep the squad in place and just a few little bit of tinkering here and there. I don't know about you guys. I think he's done a sensational job. I mean, anyone could have expected a big drop-off, with Warren Moon gone, but he's done extremely well to not only keep things together, but put his imprint on the team as well.
Yeah, I think so. I think probably, and they started off the season very well as well. And I think, COVID probably had a negative effect on Lions. I think they were flying before COVID. I think, just a few injuries to key personnel and a few key personnel, unavailable for large chunks, I think obviously affected their, premiership tilt. But, if most of those guys, I know obviously there's a few key players like Brindle South and Danny Kim not playing, but and they're very hard to replace. But, if the majority of the other boys are playing, then, there's still a very good chance of winning the match. So I think he's done a great job. It's always a tough ask coming in after, a coach who's won everything to keep everyone going. So, I think, he'll definitely stamp more of his own authority on the team next year as well. And, expect them to still be, again, right up there challenging for the title, I would imagine.
Did you notice things this season, Grae, where you thought, oh, that's different, that Darren's implemented to the team?
Oh, to be honest, not really. Before COVID, definitely I think they were the same side, playing the same way. I mean, why would you change it, to be honest? It was so successful. Post-COVID, because of the personnel, he certainly tried a few things. There was, 3 at the back some weeks and, different personnel. Moving players, Henry Hall, sometimes in midfield, sometimes a winger. So, I think he sort of had a bit of a trial at a few different options to try and get the best out of who he had at the time and who was fit. I think you might probably see a little bit more of his own stamp. But then again, he was an assistant coach with Mooney as well, and the way they played, was a successful formula. So I wouldn't think he'd go too dramatic away from that. Again, just, subtle differences depending on what players he has at his disposal.
How much do you lean on your assistants with the tactical side of play?
Oh, it probably depends on who your assistant is.
Yeah.
I think these days, coaching an NPL team is a lot of work, a lot of time. So I think you've got to have a lot of trust in your assistant. You appoint your assistant coach essentially, and if you don't trust him to be able to do anything, well, then what's the point? I think you do lean on your assistant quite a lot. You're there just to agree with everything you say. You want them to be able to, maybe see things that you don't, and be able to let you know. And you have the trust in that assistant. If he's seen something that you're not, or something that's different, you're trusting his opinion and you take that into account. And I think it's also from a coaching, training session point of view, it's important that, particularly at this level, that, that the boys, they hear a different voice. I think if they hear the same voice over and over and over again, it gets a bit monotonous as well. So, when they're at this semi-professional level, I think it's important to maintain that that variety as well. I think that's important.
Tony, Ben Kahn, he's been in the job for a couple of years now. He's been close. It's got to be his best chance yet, right?
This has to be the year, because I would say he's going to lose the boys to go back to Melbourne. The Japanese boys already made it clear that one of them is already going. Sunday's his last game. So I would say this is his best chance. Look, if they're on their game, they should win it. But it is a grand final, and it is Lions. And they specialise in these games. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we'll all agree Olympic have been a good side over the last few years, but just, maybe struggled in just that, they're getting over the line when required. I think, we'll all agree that, bringing in, Sekia has obviously changed the dynamic of that team dramatically. So he's given them, really what that team needed. I think, off the back of signing him and AJ in particular, just made a bit more solid at the back, so they weren't giving away as many cheap goals. I think the signing of those two on top of, a good squad were just, the perfect signings to fit into what they needed to go that little bit extra. So, I mean, we'll see on Saturday, but I think, if they don't sign those two players, they're not in the position that they're in. The crucial signings and how they've linked in really well with the team, and Ben's got them in linking really well with the team very quickly, mixing in with the existing players that were already there, is going to be what's really got them to where they are. The challenge will be obviously for Ben next year. I mean, I'm assuming he's still there. I haven't heard any announcements or anything, but how do you replace Sekia and how do you replace AJ? Yeah, assuming he's going back. I imagine he is. I think he was on loan anyway. How do you replace those guys? So
I'd throw Daniel.
That's the big question
there as well. 16 goals in 25 games.
Oh yeah, for sure. But I think bringing Sekia in and linking with Lek was the catalyst, big time. Yeah. So I don't think Lek maybe scores as many goals or is as effective without Sekia there. I think he's still, but maybe not as effective. And tally of both of them, where and setting up the play have been really good to watch. And I think that's given them that little bit extra.
Yes, so 3 years at Olympic, if he doesn't win on Saturday, no trophies.
Do you think his job would be in danger, Tony?
No, it's all up to Mr. Porridge. Has he made the phone call yet?
Oh, look, I think.
Look, everyone is saying that he has agreed to terms to stay at Olympic, but he hasn't signed.
Yeah.
And Adam made last week that as a mark of respect to Ben, he won't make a phone call until after the season finishes. That's exactly what he said.
Yeah. Yeah, it's obvious.
What I can understand is if you're happy at a club and you want to stay there, why wouldn't you sign straight away? What's holding you up?
Yeah, well, there's obviously might be something to do from Olympics end. I don't know, obviously. But, he's established that club or, re-established that club. They're a big club anyway, but he's re-established that club. And, to leave, realistically, it'd have to be something special to leave, whether it's a gig at a pro club somewhere. I can't see any other real reason to leave, to be honest. If he's well looked after at Olympic, which I imagine he is, He's got a good team. There's a chance. Yes, they'll lose a couple of players, but the run that they've had, I'm sure they'll attract some other good players. And he's well entrenched there. So if he does leave, I imagine it'll be something special. So if that's the case, then that's the case.
I'm just surprised they haven't announced it.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Yeah. Maybe Ben's got something lined up. Maybe he wants to go overseas and doesn't afterwards. I don't know.
Maybe daily gig at Newcastle.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. But I think the coach, they need the coach now, considering
they've got no owners yet.
Yeah, well, that's right. So.
What about you, Grae? Is there any announcements coming soon?
So yeah, hope. So and no, I'm not waiting for Ben Khan. So. Something special, then I can't imagine he's going to leave anyway.
All right. Time to put your neck on the line, lads. Who do you fancy and why?
I think Olympic 3-1. They just have that finishing touch. Last game for the Japanese boy before he goes back overseas. They want to send him back out on a good note. They have been the best team all year. In my opinion, they played the best football all year. Most consistent, even though they didn't finish first. And I don't know. I think they'll win 3-1. But they're playing Lions, so anything could happen.
Yeah, look, I think, I agree. I think Olympic are certainly favourites. And I think if they start well, I think they'll win. But would not surprise me at all to see Lions win. Particularly, obviously they had to make a few subs in the second half, didn't they, against Power, some key players. So are they ready to go? I don't know. And if they are playing, are they 100% fit? That could make the difference. Again, wouldn't be surprised to see an extra timer. Hopefully there's no send-offs this year, so we can keep 11v11 on the park and the game can sort of flow as a result of that. That's probably the first thing. It'll be very interesting. It'll be tough to take for the Olympic fans, I think, if there's 3 grand finals in a row and you don't win a trophy. That would be real tough. But as we said, you can never discount Lions, and I think Olympic will win, but only just.
Just on that red card point, Isidro Crespo is going to have the whistle for the main game. I watched him in the match against St. George and Brisbane Knights, and that was a powder keg atmosphere, and he kept control fantastically. So unless there's a really rash tackle or a last man challenge, I expect him to keep a lid on things.
Yeah, look, he's normally pretty cool, calm and collected, really. So it'll be up to the players. As long as the players don't do anything silly, then I'll get onto it. But I think we'd be expecting Lions to come out and really trying to get in the face of Olympic. I think that's how you've got to play against them and not let them play with ease. Try and put them off their game. So as a result of that, you do have to make tackles. And we saw that in the semi-final against Knights. Knights were quite aggressive in that regard. It probably did work for a little bit. There was a patch, 15, 20-minute patch where they weren't at their best Olympic. But Knights weren't able to capitalise with any other goals. So, I think, Lions will probably be fairly similar, trying to get in their face and not let them play, and if they make a mistake trying to play out, can they capitalise? So you've got to make tackles and you've got to go flying in to do that. So you never know.
Well, it promises to be a fascinating game. I noticed on the Olympic Facebook page today that there are only 500 tickets left, which is fantastic. So great to see everyone jumping online and buying their tickets. We'll put a link to purchasing of tickets in the comments section.
Do you have to buy them online? I haven't bought mine yet.
Well, that's the thing. If they don't sell out, you can buy them at the gate, but it's more expensive.
You'd have a gold pass anyway, wouldn't you, Tony?
No, mate, not at Perry Park.
Oh, is that another ground that you're banned from, Tony?
No, mate. I've had some good times at Perry Park. No, the good old days.
Yeah, it's a good venue, isn't it? And it's a good host for a grand final. So hopefully looks like there will be a big crowd.
A huge Olympic crowd. I just don't know about the opposition.
Yeah, well, I think there'll be a few lines from the women and the men, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's a large chunk of Logan fans there, obviously, as well. So, and then particularly if they happen to win on the Friday night, there could be even more of them there on a Saturday. So, there might be a fair few Logan fans, I'd say, too, that's making up that number.
I hope they get the atmosphere like last year, but I doubt it.
Yeah. Look, that's, as I said, that's one of the lasting memories of the final. One of the things I think of straight away is the crowd and how good it was, and how good that would be if you could get that, or even close to that for regular season matches. That's the challenge, and why not if you can come to a grand final, and they're all supporters of just two clubs. Essentially, if you can do that, why can't you do that during the year? And, I think Olympic have shown that to a degree, definitely with some of the crowds that they've got. And, Knights is normally well supported, at home as well. But if you can start to build, those bigger crowds for the normal league games, definitely makes a difference for the players and, makes it for a really good atmosphere.
Two big crowds at Olympic the last 2 weeks. Is it coincidental that they're playing against ethnic-based clubs? Brisbane City, Gold Coast Knights.
Oh, look, I think so. Obviously, I think everyone there was a big interest in the City game because of the relegation, and then obviously the Knights game because it was a final. But I think often the ethnic-based clubs do have a longer history of support. You have those fans that come and support, even though they haven't had kids play at the club for 20 years. Yeah. So I think I think that's sort of natural to expect that. And the challenge is for some of the other clubs to try and build that over time, I think. And if we can get that, then and you're getting your regular 1,000 plus at regular fixtures, then again that's another way to boost NPL Queensland.
And this is where clubs in Melbourne are paying money to players because they're getting those 1,500s and 2,000s to games every second week or through, whenever. Yeah,
exactly. And, when you're paying $10 or $15 to get in. So I remember going to watch my brother's Port Melbourne team play a few times and, just walking up to the gate and slapping a $15 charge. Well, you're joking, aren't you? Had to pull out, oh, my brother's the coach. Oh, in you go.
Well, but others don't. They charge doesn't know who you are.
Yeah, exactly. So, that's how they can fund it. But, if the team's put on a good show and the atmosphere is good, you don't mind paying that money. So, I think if we can get there, steadily get to that, then that's another way of, building that professionalism, across the clubs in Queensland.
Definitely. Well, good chat there, lads. This is it. This is the final episode for the year. Thank you to everyone who has put their hand up and signed up to Skype so that we could put these shows together and has donated their time. We really appreciate it. And to all of you out there who've been watching these shows, again, thank you for your time. Grae and Tony, should be a great weekend.
Thank you. We'll see you at Perry Park on Saturday night.
Yeah, thanks,
Looking for-
guys. Enjoy the game on the weekend, and thanks for getting me involved. And it's a good little addition you guys have started with this next year, and hopefully there's more of it next year.
And good luck wherever you're at next year, mate.
No worries. I'm sure we'll have a few chats next year, and we'll go from there.
No
We'll
problem.
get that rumour mill going.
Yeah. No. All right. See you later. And good luck to both teams on the weekend too. Hopefully it's a good game.
Definitely. This is the Look Finance SEQFC preview show. Thanks to Vilic Law. That's all, folks.
Good night.